welcome to K-Pasa. You're listening to us via WNHH 103.5 FM, and we're also streaming live via the New Haven Independent.org and LaVozRadioTV.com. Today, live in our studio audience, we have a student, and his name is Joshua Aponte, and he goes to Kayner Tech Culinary Institute. And he is only 15 years old, and his desire is to be a chef. But, you know, you would think, I was kind of, one of the main reasons why I brought him in is because I thought that he would want to be like a Puerto Rican chef or a chef of Latino cuisine. But no, that is not really what he's aspiring. He wants to be a gourmet chef for Italian cuisine and French cuisine. And so I find that most fascinating. Joshua, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, so first let's start with, tell me about the high school, what grade you're in?
So I'm a sophomore in Kayner Tech, as you were saying. Yeah.
And why Kayner Tech?
So what makes Kayner Tech different and why I chose it is because I actually wanted to go to a school where I could work after high school. And at Kayner Technical High School, they give me that option to work after high school or go ahead and actually continue my career through college.
Okay. And you are interested in going to college after you graduate from Kayner Tech?
I plan on going to the Culinary Institute of America, CIA.
And where is that located?
That's in New York, Hyde Park.
In Hyde Park, New York. Okay, great. So tell us about where your love for the culinary arts come in. Why culinary and not anything else?
So my basic love for culinary arts came from my family because, as you know, being a Latino, food is very important in the Latino community, and who doesn't love good food?
Definitely. Now, where were you born?
I was actually born in Waterbury, Connecticut.
In Waterbury?
Yeah.
Okay. But your parents are both of them from?
Puerto Rico.
Both of them. What part of Puerto Rico?
Well, my mom is from Bayamon.
Bayamon?
Yep.
Okay. And your dad?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, have you had an opportunity to go to Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I've been to Puerto Rico on multiple occasions.
When was the first time you went?
When I was around, I'd say 3 years old. First time.
And then?
And then I went around when I was like 11. And then last year I actually went again.
So how did you feel about visiting Puerto Rico?
I love it. I like the culture, and I like just seeing family. And also there's a lot of culinary influences in Puerto Rico.
And when you say culinary influence, can you please elaborate a little bit on that?
So like in Puerto Rico, you know, when you go to the beaches and places like that, there's always food around you. For example, sorullitos de maíz, which is like one of my favorites. I love those on-the-go snacks.
Those are great. So sorullitos de maíz, let's explain to our listeners what that is, please.
So it's basically cornmeal, and it's kind of, you make like a dough with it, and then after you make that dough, you can choose to stuff it with cheese, but the dough can either be sweet or savory, and then you basically fry it, and the cheese is melted. It's really good. Yeah.
No, my mother, I grew up on those. They're great. I really love them. They're good for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks, for any time, you know. So I'm glad to know. And it's considered like a poor man's meal.
Yeah.
But you know what I find most fascinating is that when we were poor growing up, the poor man's meal back then that every single poor person had is considered a luxury nowadays. For instance, cod, you know, bacalao.
Yeah.
Well, poor people used to eat bacalao and viandas, which are vegetables. Now it's very expensive. You know, cod goes for about $8.99 a pound. And then all of the different viandas, which are all the vegetables, ground. They're grown in ground. Most of the Spanish vegetables that we eat, and you know it's all very expensive nowadays. So you know, a poor person barely can't eat it unless you grow them in the farm, which was a lot of our people do back home.
Yep.
And then what do you consider? What's another poor man's meal that today is very expensive?
Actually, another poor man's meal that is kind of considered expensive could be like white rice with corned beef, because, for example, corned beef now is a little more expensive than it was back then.
A little. Oh my God, a lot more expensive. Yes, I remember growing up with white rice and corned beef. I mean, that was definitely, and spam.
Oh yeah.
And spam. But nowadays, oh my goodness, I went to buy a can of corned beef and it was $8.99.
Oh my God.
I said, oh my goodness, no. I'm going to go have me a steak instead of paying for this corned beef.
Forget the poor man's meal, right?
Yeah, definitely. So how are your family back home, given the state of where Maria is at right now?
As of now, my family in Bayamon is doing all right, still no power yet, but they do have a generator. But I do have some cousins who actually came down from Puerto Rico because their house, they have no power and no school. So they came down to Connecticut, and now they're going to school here,
In Waterbury?
Yeah, in Waterbury.
Yeah. And you've had an opportunity to spend time with them?
Yep, they're going to be here till like the end of the year, so it's a lot of good bonding time.
Yeah. Do they speak English?
Oh yeah, they were actually born in Waterbury and then moved to Puerto Rico when they were like, one of them was 7.
Oh, so that helps a lot. Yeah. And it's like, I was listening to all of a lot of what's going on with the new Puerto Ricans that are migrating here to the mainland. That in the schools, as soon as they arrive, the next day they have to go to school. So the schools are basically preparing themselves for that. And for those that don't speak English, what they're doing is, especially Wilbercross High School, they're giving them another student to be by their side to help them, translate for them and help them with the coursework and help them get adjusted to the new life. So do you only go on vacation to Puerto Rico, or have you lived for any time at all in Puerto Rico?
For now, I've only went on vacation. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you find that your going to Puerto Rico also influenced you in your wanting to be a culinary individual?
Yeah, like there's just so much culture, like I said, in Puerto Rico, where it's like there's so many positive influences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, it's very interesting because I know that a lot of Latino men, especially some Puerto Ricans, okay, they say that cooking is for women. So, do you find any of your friends at all bothering you about you wanting to be a chef, or are they okay with that?
I mean, so in my high school, they offer lots of trades. For example, one of them is electrical, and part of the things that you do in culinary is you have to actually deliver to the other shops. So that would mean like walking food to them. And a couple of my friends are like, this is a man's job, saying about talking about the electrical trade. In my head, I'm like, it's a man's job, but it's not what I like to do. In reality, culinary is also a man's job.
Yeah.
There's no place where it says it's only for women.
But you know what's very interesting is that I know, like in the Puerto Rican culture, they're like that. But yet all of the renowned chefs, they're all males.
Exactly.
They're women cook at home and they're home, but not in the restaurants and stuff like that. Kind of, that's
Gordon
like the
Ramsay.
perception.
Gordon Ramsay's a good example of a male chef who's doing stellar in the culinary field.
Okay, tell us a little bit about him.
So Gordon Ramsay, he's not Puerto Rican, but he's a British chef, and he has I'd say 3 Michelin star restaurants as of now. And then Bobby Flay, another person that grew up near home, New York, another famous chef, tons of Michelin star restaurants.
So those have been your models, your role models?
Yeah, I would say Gordon Ramsay is my top role model. Just the way he works in the kitchen and the way he directs his staff is something amazing.
So where do you have an opportunity to see him?
I basically watch him like on TV and things like that. And I know he has a cooking class online where he basically is the teacher, and it goes in videos and it shows you different steps in the culinary arts field. It's really nice.
I think it's really great, when you have different influences. So you have one that's British and the other one is from what cuisine?
He actually makes American style cuisine.
American style. And tell me, you said that you wanted your cuisine, you wanted it to be more like Italian and French. Tell us a little bit about their cuisines.
So basically the Italian cuisine is more like at home and tons of like family food, things that bring people together. And then the French side of it is more like modern French. So tons of like Michelin star chefs, like I was saying, they love doing fancy stuff, and most of the cooking techniques that everybody learns is actually French. Yeah.
Here at the school, or
in general, most of the cooking techniques are French, and that's why like tons of words that chefs use. For example, mise en place is a French word which means everything in its place. That's used a lot in the kitchen. Roux, which is like a flour and butter mixture used to thicken up sauces. French terms.
So how old were you when you decided to become a chef?
So it started when I was like in elementary school, around 5 years old. I remember winning Student of the Month and saying, and they always ask you, what do you want to be when you're older? I said, I want to be a chef. And for the teachers, it was like, why a chef? A 5-year-old shouldn't be cooking. What does he know about cooking? And I just always told them, I mean, I'm a big guy. I like food. So why not be able to make my own food that I actually like,
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of what about the nutrition aspect of your cooking? How do you integrate that?
So the nutritional aspect of my cooking, I try not to use very fatty ingredients. For example, lots of oils and things like that, where you can use something instead of, let's say, some type of fat to cook something. You could use coconut oil, which is a really healthy ingredient used to like fry things or sear things.
So when was your first cooking experience?
My first cooking experience, I would say it was baking, and it all started with my mom. The baking.
Baking. Puerto Ricans don't bake. We fry.
That's true, but I remember it was like an event. It was like for Valentine's Day, and I was in elementary school, and she just bought this new tin, and it was some heart-shaped things, and I was like, ooh, we should bake something. And I think we made cupcakes, and my class loved them.
Yeah.
They loved them.
At that time, did you have the recipe, or was this your mother's own recipe?
It was my mom's recipe.
Were you reading it, or was she throwing a little bit of this and a little bit of that?
Throwing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's really funny because I come from a very large family, and cooking. There's 13 of us. My mother always did all the cooking. She would never, ever allow us to cook, because if you ruin the food, you ruin the food for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So basically, I never learned how to cook because I started working since I was 13 years old. So my mother did all the cooking all around. So when I got married, thank goodness that I had already prepared my future husband and told him, I don't know how to cook. But you know what? He didn't believe it because he had never known a Puerto Rican that didn't know how to cook. So now here I am married, and I don't know how to cook because I've worked all my life.
Wow.
So now I'm calling my mother and my next door neighbor, Mom, how do you make rice and beans? And back then, you don't have YouTube that teaches you how to cook. You don't, and plus they didn't exist recipe books that told a cup of this, a teaspoon of that. And so, it would be a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
And then you try the rice and it's dry, right?
No, mine was always mushy. You could throw it and it would stick to the wall. My white rice was terrible. But then, later on I learned because my tenant upstairs showed me how, and also showed me how with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. See, you guys can't, you can, because your mom told you a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But it's very interesting how our learning, the way we learn, has changed through or has evolved through the times. So the first one was you baked cookies or muffins, or
it was cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
Yep, that was my first time.
And you were in what grade?
I'd say first, like around first grade.
First grade. So in the school that you grew up in, what was the majority of your peers? Were they Latinos? Were they African Americans? Were they mainstream?
In my elementary school,
Yeah.
I would say they were mostly African Americans and Latinos, a combination of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember, everyone's based on their ethnicity. Well, the kinds of foods that they like are very, very different.
Yeah.
It's not until you start hanging out with each other and going to each other's homes and sharing the cuisine that your palate begins to enjoy those different types of cuisine. Like, for instance, when I went to Peru, they eat cuy. Cuys are hamsters.
Oh my gosh.
I remember sending to my son, sending him when I get home, I'm going to eat your hamster. But they're very, you have to acquire a taste for that. And it's like, they grow them, and like when I went to Peru, it was in what's the name of the city, the major city in Peru? Lima. And a lot of the places don't have roofs, so they have them in cages up there, and they give them alfalfa, they give them celery, so they're very well bred, so that's why they're very nutritious to eat.
Yep.
And so, like you tell an American you're going to eat a hamster, they think something is wrong with you. And it's like other places, they eat rats.
Asia's a good example.
Yeah, and cats.
Oh my gosh. Ew.
Yeah, no, a lot of the Chinese eat cats. And Peru, too. They eat cats, too.
Wow.
Because of the Chinese influence. And I remember there was a time when I went to Yukon in 72, there was no beef. So we were eating horse. They were selling horse meat out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's I guess the times decide what it is that you eat, and but no, I remember horse meat back in the day.
In Ireland recently, like I believe it was earlier this year, they were serving horse meat, and they got this huge lawsuit on top of them for serving horse meat.
But it's like oatmeal. Oatmeal at one time was originally fed to the pigs. Okay, to the animals. That's what oatmeal was for, and then it became a meal that we can eat that's actually very healthy.
Yep. Now we eat avena every morning, right?
Oh no, yeah, you gotta have avena o harina every morning. Talking about food, I remember being in elementary school, on Welch School, that is now the App Foundation. But and it was kindergarten, first, second, up to fourth grade. And I remember my teacher, and I don't know if it was second or third grade, asking us in the morning, what did we have for breakfast? I was the only Puerto Rican in the school that day. I mean, back in the day, in that classroom. And I remember listening to all the American kids, and they all said that they had eggs, bacon, toast, and orange juice. So as soon as you asked every single person what did they have, everybody was repeating. When they asked me, what did I eat?
Oh gosh.
I said eggs, bacon, toast, and orange juice, because I didn't want to be different. And that is not what I grew up with. I grew up with Italian bread, butter, and coffee. That was our breakfast. Continental breakfast, which if you go to Europe, that's basically what they have also.
Yep.
But I didn't want to, let them know that I was weird and different, because it wasn't fashionable back then to make a statement and say that you were different. And people would look at you, how kids are. They have no mercy.
I know. They say the truth and only the truth.
No mercy. Ooh! But no, and what's very interesting nowadays with the new immigrant wave that we have going on, our kids are having that for breakfast nowadays. And until the Americans, so-called, and on parentheses, understand that that's part of our culture, they make you feel like you're not bringing your kid up right if you're giving them bread and coffee. Mm-hmm. A lot of your Puerto Rican kids grow up with coffee since they're born. Did you grow up with coffee?
I mean, my grandma's coffee, yeah, I loved it.
Really? You were little and you used to have coffee?
Yeah, my grandma, well, there was like a certain age requirement, and I think it was like around 6 or 7, and then she poured me a cup of coffee and sugar, or maybe sugar with a side of coffee.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, it's like you're not a Latino unless you drink coffee, you know, because we grew up drinking coffee. So so Joshua, tell me, what makes you different, and why did you want to come to the show today?
So what really makes me different is I just have like a lot of motivation to do better for myself and the people around me, because, you know, nowadays teenagers just think it's okay to go ahead and party and forget about school. But see, for me it's different. I think about the future and the present, but I'm trying to push myself more towards the future to do better for myself.
Yes. Now, do you work? You're 15 years old.
Yeah.
Do you have like a mentorship program anywhere, or where do you want to go from here?
Where do I want to go from here?
Yes.
As in like working or anything
Both,
like that?
both working and your education.
So for working, I would like to work in a restaurant, whether that's even as a dishwasher, because believe it or not, in the restaurant business, you always start off as a dishwasher. Nobody goes into the restaurant business, oh, I'm an executive chef, here you go. No, it's not like that. You have to work your way up. And I mean, I wouldn't mind being a dishwasher and then eventually, like I said, moving up. And then for my education, I plan on either joining the military actually while in college to do ROTC. I want to go to a culinary college, like I said, the CIA, and then do ROTC or find an ROTC program so I could do military.
Good. I just want to remind you that you are listening to 103.5 FM WNHH here in New Haven. And live in our studio audience, we have Joshua Aponte, who his desire is to be a culinary chef in the Italian and in the French cuisine. I'm kind of hoping that he would be a chef in the Puerto Rican cuisine, because right here in New Haven, which has a large percentage of Puerto Ricans living here, we do not have a restaurant in which we can take business people to. We don't have a Puerto Rican restaurant. And we have a lot of, we have a new immigrant wave that has come in. We have a lot of Ecuadorian restaurants, we have Peruvian restaurants, we have Colombian restaurants, but we don't have a decent Puerto Rican restaurant. And when I say decent, I mean a place where you can entertain professional go there for, have like after hours, for business after hours, or take someone to a business meeting too. We don't have a Puerto Rican restaurant. Haven't had one in years. I remember the first Puerto Rican restaurant we had here in New Haven was El Coqui. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, and I guess that's just good, the way it is here in the United States and in Connecticut. For instance, we have La Luna that is Italian, but it's owned by an Ecuadorian.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like also in New York City, when you go to the Little Italy, you don't have Little Italy there anymore, because the Chinese community has expanded into, but they've bought the Italian restaurants and have kept the Italian name. But it's not the original Italians that are there preparing the food or cooking. Years ago, you used to have directly from Italy, such and such a chef, or directly from France, or directly. Now that's not what is happening, and I guess maybe that's just the nature of the beast as we're evolving. Yeah. And maybe they're not coming into this country. But I am really hoping that someday we'll have a nice Puerto Rican restaurant that we can take and entertain people. We did have the Caribe restaurant on Chapel Street. Yeah. That was really nice, but it just I guess they ended up selling it to a Mexican. It's now a Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that something will give there.
See, I think the thing is too, Puerto Ricans are often stereotyped with having greasy, unhealthy food, and there's people set out to change that, because like you said, we do need a place where you can have a business meeting and have good food. And Puerto Rican food is really good food. The thing is, like I said, people just kind of stereotype it and think, oh no, this is unhealthy. And now with the new health wave, that people are going through in the United States with childhood obesity raising, and all those factors kind of coincide with those, like you said, the Latin restaurant. But maybe one day, who knows, I might change my mind, influence the culinary scene for other Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, because you know, it's like I am sure that what's happening with the Puerto Rican happened at one time with the Italian, when the Italians started opening up their own restaurants. You know, I think a lot of Italians say, "What am I going to go and pay to eat food when I can make it here?"
Yep.
You know, but then what happened is when the Italian food now started to be more mainstream, that they weren't only attracting Italians only. You know, then, you know, things, it's like the Mexican food, you know, very few Mexicans really go to a lot of the Mexican restaurants over here, because it's not, you know, the Mexican food that they have at home. It's the same way with the Chinese food. It's not the Chinese food that the Chinese eat at home. They have, and I think you know, as a chef, you know how to do that, how to change the food so that the mainstream can enjoy that flavor.
Yeah.
Because don't you find that happens a lot in cooking?
Yeah, I feel like now in cooking, a really famous or a really popular thing that chefs are doing now is fusion. For example, like Latin Asian fusion. There's actually a restaurant. It's not fine dining. It's more like a fast food restaurant. I forget what it's called, but it's actually a Chinese restaurant, and the Chinese people there actually speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It's something different. You walk in, he's like, "Hola, ¿cómo está?" I'm like, "What?" Excuse me. I'm like, "Wait a minute."
You know, it's very interesting that you should say that. I grew up on Congress and in the hill section, and it's predominantly African American. But there we had a Chinese restaurant, and one day I go to order food, and the guy says, "Do you want some totoni?" I said, "Do I want some totoni?" I didn't know what he was talking about. Then it was he was asking me que si quiero tostones.
Oh my gosh.
Fried plantains. I said, "Yeah, I want fried." And it was amazing, you know. So that's what makes a restaurant survive. You have to be able to provide for the people that are around you. And I think also things are changing a lot, because, you know, we don't want to spend 2 or 3 or 4 hours in a restaurant sitting down, you know. Yep. Some people might want to do that, and that's why the restaurants, you have to have an area which that's what you do, you fine dine and everything. But then you have to also prepare for those that, you know, are on the go all the time, and they don't have the time. They want the food, but they don't have the time to be wined and dined, you know. Yeah. They want it quick.
Yep, and that's exactly how it is. Thing is industrialized and fast. I actually have an idea for a future restaurant. I'm not gonna say it now because, you know, it's an idea that hopefully in Connecticut it'll be the first time we have something like that.
Oh my goodness, that's
good. I can't wait.
Yeah. That's going to be, what is it? Property, intellectual property. We won't mention it. But you know what? Tell me something. When you have your restaurant, what are you gonna call it?
Actually, I have like my culinary influences started when I was young, but recently, after joining the high school that I do go to, we had a project, and it was a summer culinary arts project, and the chef wanted us to basically do one entree, and then for extra credit, we had to do either an appetizer, a dessert, or like a bread or something. Well, I kind of overachieved, and I did all of it. And we had to also come up with a name. So the name I chose was the lime avec des glacons, which means, so the lime, my cooking for that project was Caribbean and French. So it's kind of a weird mix, like a fusion. And then, so the lime basically represents party. That's what people say in the Caribbean. They're like, the lime is the party. And then avec des glacons means on the rocks in French. Yeah, so the party on the rocks.
That's great. I look forward to I look forward to being around, and I know that I will be. I want you to promise me that you're going to invite me.
Oh, of course.
And you're going to stay in touch. If at this time, you know, it's amazing how time just flies when you don't want it to fly.
Yeah.
So how about saying some things to your school?
Um, so I just want to thank my school for everything that they do and how they help me make sure I'm successful. I really want to thank my chef. His name is Chef Griswold. He's actually my teacher. He's always there by my side, telling me to use the claw when I'm cutting an onion. But he's taught me tons of cooking techniques, and he actually gave me a book. It's called Yes Chef, and it's I know his last name is Samuelson. He's a chef. He owns the Red Rooster in Harlem, New York. Real famous chef. He's on Chopped and everything. And he gave me a book because I was thinking about leaving my school, actually, because I was kind of stressed out with math. My teacher gave me this book. He said, stay motivated. And the book is a great book. It's about a chef who was actually born in Ethiopia, and then his mother died, and he still continued. He moved to Sweden, got adopted, and now look at him, a famous chef. And he actually influences Ethiopian cooking. It's really amazing.
Wow. So Joshua, thank you so much for being here, part of this show, K-Pasa. I just want to say, all the listeners that are there, I hope that this has been an inspiration. He's 15 years old. He wants to be a chef. Hopefully, I've persuaded him a little bit to go also into the Latino end of it. And thank you all for listening. Until next time, this is Norma Rodriguez Reyes en K-Pasa.
Si usted o un ser querido sufre de esclerosis múltiple recurrente, MS por sus siglas en inglés, está invitado a un evento educativo en vivo. Escuchará a un experto en MS y también a otras personas que viven con esclerosis múltiple recurrente. Además, podrá aprender sobre una opción de tratamiento oral. Conéctese con la comunidad MS el martes 14 de noviembre del 2017 a las 6 de la tarde en Testos Restaurant and Catering en Bridgeport, Connecticut. Para confirmar su asistencia, visite multipleesclerosisevent.com y díganos si desea traer a un invitado. El espacio es limitado, por eso debe confirmar su asistencia hoy mismo en multipleesclerosisevent.com. Lo esperamos.
Imagina la sonrisa de tus hijos corriendo por el patio con Max. Mientras tú y tu esposo sentados en el jardín, bajo un sol radiante y con tu bebida favorita, planean el próximo paseo familiar.
Ahora deja de imaginar y ponle fecha a tus sueños. Es hora de convertir una casa más del barrio en un verdadero hogar. Llama a Prisma hoy y aprende cómo podría ser dueño de casa. Te ayudamos con préstamos convencionales, de gobierno, con Tax ID. Sí, con Tax ID. Y lo que es mejor, en tu idioma, de la A a la Z. Así de simple. 203-683-0600. 203-683-0600. Prisma Lending Group, tu hipoteca latina. Igualdad de oportunidades en préstamos para vivienda, sujetos a aprobación de crédito. Prisma Lending Group LLC, licenciados con el Departamento de Asuntos Bancarios de Connecticut, NMLS 2250.
Transmite en su canal de frecuencia modulada estereofónica multiplex La Voz Radio desde New Haven, Connecticut al mundo.
Hola, ustedes están escuchando a Norma Rodriguez Reyes en el show ¿Qué pasa? A través de www.lavozradiotv.com y también a través de WNHH 103.5 FM aquí en New Haven. Nos pueden escuchar a través de newhavenindependent.org o a través de lavozradiotv.com o lavozhispanact.com. En Facebook, por favor, a través de La Voz Hispana CT. Aquí mismito en nuestro estudio tenemos hoy a un jovencito de solamente 15 años que se llama Joshua Aponte, y él es de la ciudad de Waterbury, y él está en el 10º grado y él está estudiando arte culinaria, ¿ok? la escuela que él está asistiendo es WF Kayner Technical High School. Y ahí él está estudiando para ser un chef. Lo interesante del señor Joshua Aponte, que es puertorriqueño, un jovencito, pero que nació en Waterbury, ¿ok? Él quiere ser un chef de cocina francesa e italiana, ¿ok? Y yo estoy tratando de persuadirlo de ser un chef puertorriqueño, porque aquí en New Haven no tenemos un restaurante puertorriqueño en la cual nosotros podemos llevar a personas, así sea para una reunión o para una fiesta o para cualquier sitio. Tenemos sí lugares que tú entras y sales rapidito, pero nada en realidad en la cual podemos profesionalmente llevar individuos. Eso es uno de mis deseos, que si algún día se me cumplan y que no sean muy lejos, que sean mucho más temprano que lejos. Joshua, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Gracias.
Ok. Joshua, cuéntanos a nosotros por qué tú decidiste ir a la escuela WF Kayner Technical High School.
Yo decidí ir para esta escuela porque en esta escuela te dan la opción para ir a trabajar después de la escuela y cosas así. Y también te prepara para el colegio.
Te prepara para la universidad, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Que sí. Ok. Entonces, de todas las diferentes profesiones que tú puedas escoger, ¿por qué tú has decidido ser un chef?
Yo quería ser un chef porque a mí siempre me ha gustado la cocina. Desde que tengo 5 años me ha gustado la cocina. Y en la cocina hay muchas cosas que tú puedes ser diferente y cambiar un poquito de esto, un poquito de eso, como tú dices. Y por eso quería ser un chef.
Okay. Es muy fascinante porque tú sabes que en la cultura hispana y especialmente en la cultura puertorriqueña, ¿ok? La mayoría, quizás no tanto hoy en día porque hemos evolucionado bastante, pero siempre decían que eso de estar cocinando, eso es para las mujeres, que estar en la cocina, ¿ok? ¿Eso en algún momento te ha afectado o te han dicho eso a ti como hombre?
Sí, en la escuela mía, lo que hacemos también es que hacemos deliveries. So, una vez entré a la clase de electricidad y un amigo mío me dijo, yo le estaba hablando algo y él me dijo, esto es un trabajo de hombre. Estaba hablando de la clase de electricidad. Y yo le dije, este trabajo es también de hombre. Porque es verdad, casi todos los chefs que cogen muchos chavos son hombres.
Eso es verdad, tú sabes, es interesante porque en la cultura de nosotros, tú sabes, se creen que cocinar es para las mujeres nada más. Sin embargo, aquí en América, todos los chefs que tú conoces, que son de restaurantes muy famosos y que hacen mucho dinero, ¿ok? Son hombres. Las mujeres sí cocinan, pero en su casa, no en la plaza, como dicen. Entonces, no, y siempre cuando uno ve siempre los anuncios por la radio, por la televisión, en el periódico, que dice directamente de Italia, el chef directamente de Italia. So que este restaurante italiano es un restaurante bueno porque el chef viene directamente de Italia, ¿ok? Sí. O este restaurante es bueno porque el chef viene directamente de Francia. So, siempre hablaban de los chefs y siempre eran hombres. Uh-huh. So, es muy interesante como las culturas ven las cosas bien diferentes.
Sí.
Es casi lo mismo como los sastres. Los sastres, las que se pasan cosiendo son las mujeres. Sin embargo, los mejores sastres del mundo o los designers, los diseñadores también son hombres.
Sí.
So que nuestra cultura latina a veces tiene las cosas un poquitito confundidas.
Sí, yo creo que ellos piensan así porque antes, en los tiempos viejos, muchos de los hombres estaban trabajando en carro o algo así, y las mujeres siempre estaban en casa preparando la comida. Yo creo que por eso la gente, y más los latinos, piensan así.
Pero lo bueno de todo eso que aunque te decían que esta profesión de electricista sí es para hombre, ¿ok? Mientras que la de cocinero no es, pero eso a ti no te molestaba, no dejó que eso te quitara a ti de tu visión y de tu deseo.
Sí.
¿Y eso es lo que tú le dejas saber a los que te están escuchando de tu edad?
Sí, claro, porque aunque sea hombre en la cocina y que digan que eso es para mujeres, yo sé que yo voy a ser chavo en la cocina.
Eso mismito, que va a ser bastante chavo en la cocina, qué lindo. Plata para los que no entienden lo que es chavo, ¿ok? Sí, porque es que hoy en día, cuando nosotros hablamos ciertas cosas, lo que quiere decir una cosa para nosotros, para muchos de nuestros oyentes que son de otros países hispanos, para ellos el dinero, nosotros les decimos chavos, pues pennies, mientras que para ellos es plata, ¿ok?
Sí.
Pero muy interesante. So, cuéntanos, por favor, la primera vez que tú cocinaste algo.
La primera vez que yo cociné algo fue en el primer grado, tenía 5 años. Y yo sabía que iba a haber una fiesta en la escuela el próximo día. Y no ha preparado nada, ni mi maíz ha comprado nada. So, mi maíz cogió una cosa de bizcocho que era de corazón. Y ella me dijo que la ayudara en la cocina para hacer unos bizcochos, unos cupcakes para la escuela, para la fiesta. Y cuando lo hice, me encantó.
Qué bien. Pues mira eso que está hablando de otra palabra de bizcocho. Para otros países hispanos, bizcocho es una palabra que no lo puedes decir, ¿ok? Mientras que pastel, o
Sí.
¿qué otra palabra también, además de pastel? No sé, pero sé que tienen un montón de diferentes nombres para eso.
Sí.
Es lo mismito que montón. Ok,
Mucho.
¿Verdad que sí? Mucho. So, esa fue tu primera experiencia cocinando algo. Cuando tú cocinaste esos cupcakes o esos bizcochos, esos pastelitos que estamos hablando, tú tenías una recipe, ¿cómo se dice? Receta. ¿Tú tenías una receta cuando hiciste eso? ¿O
Sí.
era un poquito de aquí, un poquito de allá?
Bueno, era un poquito de ahí y un poquito de allá, porque en la comida latina mucha gente no leen de un libro para hacer algo. No leen recetas, lo que hacen lo hacen por ojo, como yo digo.
Sí. Bueno, queremos en este tiempo darle las gracias a la madre de Joshua Aponte, Jasmine Aponte, que está aquí en nuestro estudio también con nosotros, porque queremos dejarle saber que como él es menor de edad, así que necesitamos que los padres estén de acuerdo con la entrevista que estamos haciendo hoy en día, puesto que Joshua Aponte solamente tiene 15 años, pero es un muchacho muy ambicioso y sé que va a lograr lo que él se dedica, porque ha enseñado de que él tiene una meta y no va a permitir que nada ni nadie lo separe de la meta que él tiene. Yo estaba comentando, Joshua, de que cuando yo me criaba aquí en América, en New Haven especialmente, no había muchos hispanos. Y restaurantes hispanos, olvídalo. Y cuando tú ibas a las tiendas, no habían sit-downs como hoy en día, ¿ok? Ahí lo que habían eran todos los supermercados americanos y todos los productos eran todos americanos, excepto Progresso, que eso eran los productos italianos.
Sí.
Y yo me recuerdo que mi mamá tenía que usar los productos italianos y mezclarlos de alguna manera para darle el sabor puertorriqueño que en ese tiempo queríamos, que es también lo que ha pasado con muchos de todos los otros inmigrantes que han venido aquí de México, de Perú, de Ecuador, de Colombia, que ellos mismos han tenido, cuando van a sus países, a visitar a sus países, ellos se traen sus especias, sus diferentes cosas que ellos necesitan para hacer su comida, que aquí en América no lo hay o no lo había. Pero hoy en día sí lo hay, porque están como dije, C-Town es uno de los supermercados que tiene todos los productos hispanos y ahora mismo tiene los productos de todos los diferentes grupos hispanos. Y yo sé que también si llega un grupo nuevo de algo que no existe, sí, pues ellos lo dicen. Mira, yo fui al Amigo Felix, que es un restaurante mexicano, ahí al lado de la Universidad de Yale. Y la primera vez que yo fui, yo quería comer pollo, pero a mí no me gusta el pollo como los americanos lo hacen, ¿cómo se llama eso? Wings.
Alas.
Alas. Sí, las wings, que ellos la hacen, un estilo que no me gusta, con una salsa que no me gustaba. Entonces yo le dije al dueño, yo le dije, mira, tú me puedes hacer unas salitas, por favor, con adobo. Entonces me dice que no sabía que era adobo. ¿Ok?
Ay, Dios mío.
Entonces yo le dije, pues mira, coge unas alas y pónmele sal y pimienta, ¿ok?
Ajá.
Y me las fríe. ¿Ok? Que la próxima vez que yo vengo, yo te voy a traer un pote de adobo, ¿ok? Y así mismito pasó. Y entonces cada vez que nosotros vamos al amigo Félix, nosotros decimos, mira, queremos la comida estilo la voz hispana. Entonces, pues ellos saben que ya que tiene que tener el adobo.
Sí.
Y no solamente, pero eso es una influencia en la cual el amigo Félix, ahora para muchos de los hispanos que van, él le añade ese condimento, porque sabe que a los boricuas le gusta, porque el adobo es una mezcla de casi todas las diferentes especias, pero en una nada más. So, estamos haciendo las cosas bien rápido, quick. Te voy a estar echando un poquito de aquí, un poquito de aquí, no, lo echas un poquito de todo y todo está mezclado, ¿verdad? Como la salsa, pero no como la salsa de baile, ¿ok? Sino como la salsa. Tú naciste aquí en Waterbury, pero has tenido la oportunidad de visitar a Puerto Rico, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Cuéntame de tu experiencia con la comida allá en Puerto Rico.
En Puerto Rico yo he ido para las playas y todo eso, y a mí me gusta la comida en las playas, porque en la comida de las playas, ahí tienen muchas cosas que tú coges en tu mano y sigues caminando para ver todo. Y una de mis cosas favoritas de comer en Puerto Rico son sorullitos de maíz. Sí.
Sorullitos de maíz. Cuéntanos un poquito de cómo se hacen los sorullitos de maíz.
Los sorullitos de maíz se hace una masa con harina de maíz, y con esa masa pueden echarle más sal si quieren o más azúcar, lo que tú quieras, y también le echamos queso adentro del sorullito de maíz y salen sabrosos.
Y después los fríen, ¿verdad que sí?
Se fríen.
En los tiempos de antes nosotros usábamos manteca para freír.
Ajá.
Bueno, yo creo que todo el mundo usaba manteca para freír. Es más, yo me recuerdo que los McDonald's, las French fries, las papas fritas,
Sí.
eran hechas con manteca. Pero después, mientras el tiempo fue evolucionando y nos dimos de cuenta que la manteca no era saludable para el sistema de nosotros, pues las cosas cambian. Y lo interesante es que cuando tú tienes que ahora cambiar un ingrediente que es el que le ha dado el sabor a la comida, ¿qué pasa? Cuéntanos.
Lo que pasa es que cogen un sabor diferente. Ahora lo que necesitamos es coger ingrediente más saludable, como la manteca de coco. Eso es algo que se usa ahora para freír muchas cosas, porque cambia el sabor un poquito, pero es mejor para tu sistema.
Definitiva, mucho más saludable.
Sí.
Mucho más. La gente de nosotros le gustaba, y eso es una de las razones por la cual los afroamericanos y los hispanos, especialmente los puertorriqueños, sufren más de arteriosclerosis, mucha alta presión,
Sí.
por las diferentes gorduras, fats que comen por causa de las comidas, ¿verdad? Y lo interesante es que ustedes están aprendiendo no solamente cocinar con el sabor, sino los ingredientes
Más saludable.
que son más saludables para la comida, ¿verdad? Ok, dime entonces cómo se va a llamar el restaurante tuyo cuando tú lo tengas.
El restaurante que cuando yo lo tenga, yo quiero llamarlo The Lime avec des flacons. Y The Lime es inglés, pero es del Caribbean. Y lo que significa eso es la fiesta. Y después avec des flacons es francés. Y lo que significa eso es la piedra, encima de la piedra. Mi restaurante, The Lime avec des flacons, significa la fiesta encima de las piedras.
La fiesta encima de las piedras.
Ajá.
Pero tú sabes que va a ser bien interesante es cómo es que el hispano va a leer Lime. El restaurante tuyo se va a llamar Lime
Avec des flacons.
Avictos Lacón.
Sí.
¿Ok? Lime Adictos Lacón. Porque así es que los hispanos te lo van a leer, porque como se lee en inglés y como se lee en español, es dos diferentes cosas, ¿verdad? Sí. Es lo mismito que tenemos un restaurante aquí que se llama Ceviche,
Ajá.
pero hicieron la C y no se ve, y además muchos de los americanos no saben lo que es ceviche.
Sí.
So, tenemos que muchas veces cuando escogemos un nombre, asegurarnos que toda persona que vea ese nombre sepa de qué se trata, de qué es, con verlo nada más.
Ajá.
Pero bueno, yo quiero en este tiempo darte las gracias, por haber estado de acuerdo de estar aquí en este show en ¿Qué pasa hoy? Te deseo mucho éxito y también, por favor, en estos momentos, si quieres decirle a la gente de tu escuela, Kayner Technical High School, despedirte de ellos y darle las gracias a quien tú quieras.
Right. Le quiero dar las gracias a mi instructor, oh my gosh, mi maestro de la cocina, se llama Chef G. Él es un hombre que es el mejor en la cocina que yo conozco. Y él me ha enseñado a cortar muchas cosas, cómo cocinar. Y también es como una persona que siempre me está empujando para ser mejor. Porque en una vez yo quería salirme de la escuela que estoy porque no estaba haciendo muy bien en la matemática. Y después él me dio un libro que era como motivation.
Motivación, un libro de motivación que todos nosotros necesitamos de eso.
Y también le quiero dar las gracias a Anamin, porque ella es una mujer que me ha ayudado tanto. Ella tiene un business de café, se llama Alba Cafecito, y ellos tienen un café ahí que el mejor café que yo he probado. El mejor, sí.
Wow. La próxima vez tenemos que entrevistar a Anamin para saber de su café.
Sí. Y también a mi madre, porque mi madre, ¿a dónde iba a estar sin mi madre? Mi madre siempre ha estado ahí por mí y me ayuda cuando estoy mal o cuando estoy bien. Ella siempre está a mi lado.
Bueno, Joshua, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros y yo quiero dejarles saber a todos los que nos están escuchando que este es un jovencito de 15 años que tiene aspiraciones, que sé que va a lograr lo que él quiere y así mismito como traímos a Joshua aquí a este show es para motivar a los jóvenes a que se eduquen, se queden en la escuela y que tengan un buen futuro, porque hacer eso están satisfaciendo a sus padres y a sus amigos. Hasta ahora yo quiero despedirme de todos ustedes y darles las gracias por estar escuchando el show de Norma Rodríguez Reyes en ¿Qué pasa? Hasta la próxima, que tengan un buen día siempre, salud, dinero, amor y tiempo para disfrutarlo. Hasta la próxima.
Si usted o un ser querido sufre de esclerosis múltiple recurrente, MS por sus siglas en inglés, está invitado a un evento educativo en vivo. Escuchará a un experto en MS y también a otras personas que viven con esclerosis múltiple recurrente. Además, podrá aprender sobre una opción de tratamiento oral. Conéctese con la comunidad MS el martes 14 de noviembre del 2017 a las 6 de la tarde en Testos Restaurant and Catering en Bridgeport, Connecticut. Para confirmar su asistencia, visite multipleesclerosisevent.com y díganos si desea traer a un invitado. El espacio es limitado, por eso debe confirmar su asistencia hoy mismo en multipleesclerosisevent.com. Lo esperamos. Transmite en su canal de frecuencia modulada estereofónica multiplex La Voz Radio desde New Haven, Connecticut al mundo.